Hello, I'm Charlie. Let me start off by introducing myself, tell you a little bit about me, and then I'll kind of get into what I plan on doing with this channel. Whether anybody watches it or not, that's kind of beside the point, which I'll explain later. Um, but I'm from Texas originally. I've lived in 6 states at this point. I'm currently in Colorado. I've been here for about 3 years, and I moved here from Wyoming. I was in Cheyenne for a few months before that. Um, but I traveled a little bit as a young man in the Navy. I got to see several countries, and once I got back to Texas, the travel bug never left me. But I had commitments and things there. I had a family, and I was, happy with that. I was happy having a family. I love my kids to death. But I would always sit there for years and years and years and years. I'm talking decades. Dream about traveling and just doing different things and doing things my way, which the way I wanted to do things never seemed to be the way that most people do things. So I did things the way everybody else did, but I just wasn't happy. So I dreamed about traveling all those years, and when YouTube came out, I always watch videos of people doing the things that I dreamed about doing. So about I guess about 3.5 years ago, I left Texas. I got rid of essentially all my possessions. I just kept a few. What I had fit into my truck, and I left and headed for Cheyenne, Wyoming. I had never been to Wyoming before, but for several reasons, it just seemed like a good place for me to go and start off my life of whatever, on the road or adventure, or just a different life, different way of life. And so that's kind of how I kicked it off, and I stayed in Cheyenne for a few months, and then I wanted to come to Colorado. I mean, I'd been to Colorado a few times before. I just loved it here. Didn't think I could afford it, but I figured out a way to do it, and I moved to a small town in Colorado, and I was there for a couple of years. I had a good job, and really, really liked it. And those 2 years were exactly what I needed at that time. I needed a place to just kind of hole up for a little while, kind of get my head clear, do a lot of thinking, and I found a perfect place to do that. And I really sorted through a lot of things. It took a couple of years, and then some circumstances changed, and I moved here to a bigger city in Colorado, and I've been here for almost a year now. To be a year at the beginning of June. And I had a place to live here. I had an apartment. I was staying in a house and had an apartment. I had a couple places to live, and I've got a good job. But like I was paying $1,500 in rent plus all the bills for a little room that I didn't even like. I didn't use. I used it to sleep in. I didn't cook because, although I do love cooking, and some of the content that I want to put on this channel will be some cooking and just talking about cooking, and maybe I can learn something from you if anybody watches and comments. Maybe I could teach you a couple of things too. Just talk about that. That's always interesting to me. But in my kitchen, I never used it. I just don't cook that much for myself, even though I like to do it. So I showered and slept there, and any waking hour, I was either going somewhere or traveling in the mountains or whatever, or just going and sitting in my truck and going and parking somewhere and hanging out. I just found that I was always in my truck, and so it didn't make much sense for me to keep spending all my money on rent and bills and stuff that I didn't need. So I decided I'd been thinking about it for a long time, but I decided a couple of months ago, okay, I'm going to redo my truck, take out the seats from the back, build a bed, get it ready to live in. Nothing fancy, just very, very basic. And so that's what I did. I don't have running water, I don't have heat. It's really just a bed, and just I whittled down my possessions to really literally just like 3 milk crates. So I just have all my stuff neatly stacked in there. I have my bed, I insulated the windows, covered them, have a little light, and that's all that I need. So just a few days ago, I went ahead and got rid of my apartment, and I've been staying in my truck. And I've done it before. I stayed in my truck for a couple of months before, but it was before I did this little conversion, and it was really uncomfortable. But I did it for 2 months, and that was about enough for me then. It's much more comfortable now. It's much more like a home. And I'm still working my job full time. I have a couple of different sources of income. So really now I'm just saving up all of that money instead of giving it to somebody else for something that I don't need. And my plan is tentatively, and this is part of what this channel is supposed to be about, is my plan is to work, right now we just started April. My plan is to work the rest of the spring and through the summer until fall at the job that I currently have, save up a good bit of money, and then take that and go up to the Pacific Northwest, whether it be Oregon, Washington. I've been to both, spent a lot more time in Washington State, and I just love it. And I'd like to save up my cash and then drive up there in the fall and just kind of do a little traveling, a little exploring. I love doing both of those things. I do quite a bit of them, and that's something else that I'll be posting on here, trips and things that I do from time to time, or probably every other weekend or so. Now that it's finally starting to get a little bit warmer in Colorado, I can start doing those things. And every once in a while I have a wise thought. I think it's wise. Or a way of thinking about something. I'll sit there and think about it. So, maybe every once in a while I'll come on here and just talk about something that's on my mind, or give you my thoughts on something. Whether or not anybody's interested, I don't know, but I like doing it, and that's what I was saying earlier about whether or not anybody ever watches these is kind of besides the point. I have fun doing this. I made a lot of videos a couple of years ago, but I deleted them all because I was a little off my head at the time. But I get a lot out of just talking. This is kind of what I do anyway. I talk to myself in my head a lot and just think about things. And I like watching the videos, to be honest with you. After I make a video, I'll sit there and watch myself. So, I don't know. What does it say about my ego? I might be a narcissist or something, but, obviously I want people to watch. I would love for people to watch. It would be really cool. It would be like icing on the cake. But if not, I'm having fun anyway. I enjoy it. And, so yeah, anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. It's just a little introduction of myself. And there'll be a lot more to come. I got a lot of ideas and things like that. I'd like to get a new phone with a better camera. I need to get another tripod. I bought one the other day, but it kind of fell apart and I just threw it away. So right now I have my phone set up against a mop bucket. But maybe some better equipment. I got some good ideas. I like taking pictures. I love taking pictures. I go out in nature a lot. I do a lot of hiking. I spend a lot of time in the mountains. Take a lot of trips. Travel as much as possible. Quite a bit. I have these last 3.5 years or so. And so I like to make some videos and be doing all these different things. And just kind of see how it goes. Somebody to start up a chainsaw, so I think this is a good time to end. Bye, con Dios.